Now, you live in that area and you're agitating against PDAs. What is your response to this?
My response is basically now, first of all, I need to correct my MLA and who's also chairman of NGPDA. He just mentioned on record that we are under the Planning Development Authority for 5 years, which is wrong. We have come in the year 2015. So that's 14, just 3 years.
14 it is.
15, January 2015, on 15th of January. And here is the notification.
No, notification was issued, but we already have the order of the government. We started from 2014.
Okay, let's take 14. Okay.
So in these 3 years, in these 3 years,
or 4 years, whatever.
In these 3 years, I would like to ask him on record, how many places have been demolished?
Michael Bab.
Let him take this from our office.
Instead,
how many orders are? How many orders were issued? How many he along with some of his group, along with the ex-MLA who wanted to make a backdoor entry just before this election. I won again. So he tried to stop our demolition. They made a mob fear. They gathered some mob. But when I reached over there and I explained to all the people what we are doing is for the good of the people. So police came and put them at the side. See, what we are doing is we are trying to do planned development. Now when I say planned development on the main road, you can go and see right from Abad Faria junction to football ground, we have completed. Let anybody come and say that we have done something wrong. How many houses are regularized on the stay order issued by the court that draft ODP should not be put into use till you finalize your ODP. On draft ODP, we have regularized nearly around more than 70-80 houses of the local people. Now all the structures, I'm talking about 90% of Kalangut Kandulim is irregular. People's houses which were small, they made them big. They built first floor, second floor, third floor and gave them on rent. Means they are doing business. They are standing on their own feet. So we need to protect them. So when we are talking about protecting them, we need to regularize their structures. Now town planning cannot regularize the structure because the setbacks have to be seen that as and where it is basis, not 3 meter setback. On 1 meter also we will regularize. On the boundary also we will regularize. Leaving 2 meters also we will regularize. As long as you have built in your own property or you are a moon car and you have built ground plus 2, no problem. We will give you higher FAR and regularize. I am talking here for the local people of the coastal belt from Shinkerim to Baga. All those people who have built in their own property will regularize their structures.
See, the larger issue here is, I mean, the thing is, while we are focusing on Santa Cruz and Kalangut,
no, that is a big difference.
On this
don't compare Santa Cruz, San Andre to Kalangut, Kandoli, Baga, Shikeri.
I agree.
Our area is a commercial area. Let us be very frank, and we want our local people to stay back here. We don't want them to make a Portuguese passport and go to UK in search of job. Why people make Portuguese passport and go is because they are saying, where is the job? Give us the job. We are telling them to stand on your own feet. You only build a guest house of 4 rooms and you will multiply them into 10 or 12 or 15 rooms. You can stay a decent life in Goa by making some money on your own. You don't have to depend on anybody. So this is what we are promoting in our coastal belt. Even homestays are being promoted.
That's absolutely fine, but what about the larger issue of complete concretization and urbanization of that whole area, in the sense that...
See, before I could become MLA, the whole area was already developed.
Absolutely, correct. I mean,
no, let anybody say it was not developed. I'll give you the Google image. When I became MLA, I have a Google image. 2012. You see, today's Google image you see. Same structures have only gone up. Now these are not outsiders. These are our local people. What we are going to tell them? To break your structures? Those people did not have money at that particular time. They built only ground floor. Now they have got first floor, second floor, third floor in their own property. They are making business out of it. They are earning a living. Government cannot give jobs. How many unemployed you advertise tomorrow? 20,000 youth are going to come and stand on the road for a job. That day, job was advertised. I'm talking about not permanent job. Some jobs at the collector's office were advertised for what? Just for I think 6 months contractual basis, LDC. and 15,000 people standing in the line. Some fainted over there.
Hmm.
So we are telling the youth, you do your own business in your property. Let him say that he is not doing business in his own property. He is also doing. I am happy. So let our youth continue doing that legal way. No coming down under pressure of any MLA, Sarpanch, ward member, nobody. You are on your own because you have got a legal license from the government, from the PDA, from the Panchayat, from the FDA, from anybody.
Okay.
So this is our concept.
We'll quickly go back to Santa Cruz before in the next segment we'll take up the larger issue of Goa, and of course we'll refer to these villages also and talk about the rally tomorrow. Arthur Bab, just getting back to Santa Cruz. I again go back to another question. My issue is there is no denying the fact that people's opposition needs to be taken on record. There is no denying the fact that we seriously have to look into the kind of planning that we have, whether multiple plans are indeed good, or should we have one responsible regional plan under which planning has to happen. We'll address that in the second segment. The point that I'm trying to make here again is the fact that the issues concerning, say, Talegaon or Santa Cruz or that whole area and Tiswadi or Eliash, this whole belt, is that the problems of urbanization, the problems of the village bodies not getting enough power to take decisions, and we all know what has happened with Talegaon, and we all know what might have happened in Santa Cruz. The point that I'm trying to make is that this is not a 2018 issue. The issues on which Santa Cruz is fighting now has not germinated in 2018. It has germinated much earlier. I'm only trying to for the sake of the debate, try to find a justification in why this has become a 2018 issue when the problem has not been created in 2018. That's my point.
It is, in fact, what you're saying is absolutely right. These problems have germinated long ago. But what I'm saying is, if there is a person who's really trying to make a difference, he should have set on ground, got all his resources first in line, got all the base database on track, and then gone step by step. But what has happened is the PDA was suddenly shoved on our throats within 3 months, which was completely, anybody would look at it that it's coming like one bolt. Anyone will look at it. Why was that firearm used? Why was that bullet struck in 3 months? Now, I fully agree that the issues of Kalamgud Kandoli are different. I agree on that. And I don't know whether his success rate is been utilized in some way. So see, here is the success rate, and let us also apply it, same yardstick to other villages also. Now when we are talking about city villages, the PDAs were actually meant for cities. They have been suddenly they have taken villages into this thing without even consulting the villages. And the point I am trying to make here is, without even considering the socio-economic issues of the village, without even considering the fact that there are so many aquifers in our peripheral background of Santa Cruz, the Burnwall Lake is in danger. So without considering those aquifers, without considering the reports taken by experts, whether they are geoscientists, or even there are so many reports even available at the Goa University, why those reports have not been taken into consideration? Why suddenly? And to add to it is, a politician is now going to sit down and say, let us plan. Now, we would have considered if the TCB minister had to take a decision at the TCB board level. Today he is adamant. He says, I'm not going to have on your TCB board meeting. So, who are the TCB board members? They are the experts. They are experts from different fields. They have got IS officers, they have got Director of Agriculture, they have got people from all across the spectrum. Why are their decisions not taken?
But if a decision has been taken to dealing this village from the PDA, then the problem doesn't exist anymore, isn't it? It goes back to the village.
Just the decision, just the word given by the TCB minister is not acceptable. That should have been endorsed by the TCB board.
Correct. But my point is, pending that endorsement, why did your demand change from delinking villages to scrapping the entire PDA?
Because, see, we have not even solved the question of PDA. Suddenly the regional plan came in. And then suddenly something else comes in. So that excited the whole lot of people. It is not we who brought the regional plan into question. It was the TCP minister himself who brought the regional plan into question by trying to operationalize it.
Suppose the decision to delink all the villages is seriously taken and all the villages are completely delinked. Will you be satisfied?
We want it, first of all, let us sit after the PDAs are scrapped. Let us sit.
No.
Let us ask one thing. Which PDA he wants to scrap? Now, which PDA? Now, the other day, your demand on this Azad Maidan was all PDAs needs to be scrapped.
Yes.
Now, all PDAs is what? Panjim.
You have to take who are the experts? The experts on the ground are the people. People know where if one drop falls on one place, where it is going to go. People know it. People know the aquifers. People know where water is going to go. People know what.
No, you are pained of Santa Cruz and San Andre. Now you are talking about Mapsa also. You are talking about Panjim.
Absolutely, because now we are taking a stand of Guaitars against
you don't want
PDA.
in PDA. So how you are going to plan?
He says it should be meant for cities, and now he says scrap that also.
That was
They don't know what to
initially.
What exactly?
That was initially it was PDAs were meant only for cities. Why are you bringing the villages?
But now you don't want cities also. So
we
what do you want?
Yes.
Which village is
Why shouldn't a politician listen to the voice of the people? That's what I'm trying to say.
See, I'll tell you something.
I will clarify that.
I think we have won with people's voting and blessing only. Not anybody did not just come and vote us.
Now that is a very
People voted
speculative.
for
That's
you
a very
with
speculative.
the promises that you all made on the manifesto. Which today not one of
Even
them have been respected.
Sir, I totally disagree.
What is good for the people?
Sir,
Now you are going all over Goa.
You have
some
with the
problem
votes
on
of
San
those who
Andre
you have
and
lied
Santa
to.
Cruz. Honorable Minister Vijay Sardesai, I have seen his video. After having a meeting with them in his chamber.
Not with us.
Okay,
Not with us.
Your people were there.
Not with us.
Victoria Fernandez was there, Rudolph was
That
there.
was outside. That was outside.
No, there was a meeting and he
There
said
was no
that
meeting. There was no
I
meeting.
am delinking means I am
Considering it.
I am the
He
board
just
will
took
be
the memorandum,
called
sir.
and I will immediately reverse this decision and remove these areas from the PDA areas, that is Santa Cruz and San Andre, from Greater Panjim. He'll remove and bring it back to TCP. Was his word, and he said that immediately I will have a meeting. Now after this also they went ahead with the meeting of PDAs in Panjim, and they said that we don't want PDAs all over Goa. Somebody stood up over there and said so many bad things, including they said we'll set fire on Vijay Sardesai. Not accepted. This is not done. Somebody comes and stands on a mic over there and says that let us all go together and put fire for his house and put fire for him. What is this?
Okay.
Where are we living? What exactly is the problem, and what exactly you want?
The problem
he
here
said
is
that he is going to remove it.
The
If he had
problem
not
here
to
is-
remove, no, if he had not to remove, then you can
The
go
problem
ahead
is
with the
you have
agitation.
pained
With
us.
the agitation.
Let me clarify.
No, don't
Let me clarify because we were
make
there
a problem
standing.
where people.
Let me clarify.
See, there are different issues in different
Madam,
villages.
two quick responses,
My
please.
my village is having a different issue. My village is like sitting on a time bomb. We are doing a sewerage system now, which was supposed to be done 20 years back. Our area is already developed. We have got 25 to 30,000 rooms over there, where everybody is making money. All our people are living on that. It is like every taxi driver is making money because there is a restaurant working or hotel working. Now they are saying that this area should not be under PDA. Then what it should be under? Under Gram
Village
Sabha?
Panchayat.
Okay, quick response.
How can it be under? Who is there in the village panchayat?
Your
to
people.
say?
Your members are
No,
there.
members are separate. I am talking about what infrastructure you have got.
We have.
Okay, no.
Why
quick-
don't we have?
VDC is not infrastructure.
Okay, quick response.
said so?
VDC are all the
One sec,
people who have
one sec.
lost election
Quick
and
response.
Including
have
your
made a
punch
backdoor
members.
entry.
One sec,
Including
Roshan.
your punch members.
Roshan, quick response. Let's look at the larger issue. First, you respond to the larger issue of the fact that at the end of the day, PDAs have been existing. PDAs have been existing for cities. There can be a valid demand that PDAs should not get into village areas. That is understandable completely. From the demand to delink villages from the Greater Panjim PDA, how did it kind of expand to scrapping all PDAs. My issue is that. So if you could just respond to that, and then I'll give the floor to Roshan to respond to
This-
what Michael.
What I'm all saying is when the first PDA was being planned, it was planned somewhere in 81, and there were no external pressures. They were all in-house. There were no external pressures from whether it is MLA or whether it is minister. There was no. It was all in-house. It was planned by the department itself, together with experts. Now here we cannot accept the fact that politicians can be experts. You tell us that you have got experts on the panel. You tell us that you have created a base plan. Now there is no data. There is no data of the economic conditions, the social conditions.
100%. My only question is that when each of these PDAs were formed years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, why were these points not raised then? Why were the PDAs allowed to be formed and functioning for such a long time? That's my point.
It is the question is
which area are you referring to that never made noise?
Kalangut Kandoli.
We made a noise.
Since when?
It's here.
Since when?
Here, you have it. 2015 when it was proposed. You have it here.
See, I'll tell you.
You have it
Kalangut
here. And we were, no, one minute,
Kalangut
let me
Panchayat
have
made
a
a
time.
noise.
Sure.
And Kalangut Panchayat
I'll
made
give
a
you
noise,
now.
and every plan approved by the PDA, whether it is for your house, for his house, for his reconstruction, for his hotel, or for his building of 10 flats or 20 flats, the Kalangut Panchayat made special meetings to pass these plans quickly. I don't know for what. If
Okay,
they didn't
according
want,
to you-
they wouldn't have passed any plan.
Okay, according to you, the thing is, firstly, Roshan, just respond to what Michael said, and then I'll ask you a question.
What is that?
Just respond to all the points that Michael made.
See,
Michael
first point
Babu.
is let us understand this bigger picture, okay? I would never go and study science or study about cancer unless it has affected me first. So the first step of mine would be go to a doctor. I have cancer, so I start treatment. Then I would do research and see which are better hospitals, and I grow from small to big. The same thing has happened in Santa Cruz, same thing has happened in Kandoli. We were all affected little bit by the PDA. We started doing studies, and today we have come to know that the entire thing is such a blatant wrong thing to happen to anyone in humanity actually. I will tell you why. I will tell you why.
What is wrong?
I will
That's
tell you
important.
why.
What is wrong?
Now, if you see, I am here with the TCP Act. This is made in 1976. Okay? This has come at a time when people like us were not there. Now, when I am saying people like us, our forefathers didn't have the education we had. They were simple people. They were fishermen. They were farmers. How could they ever think of planning their village? My grandfather, like he is saying, was a tenant of a field. What he did? He is the one who helped PVV and was making bread there. So can that man design a building? So at that point of time, it was fair enough that the government and their expert panel came and planned a village. It was good. But on today's day, don't we have doctors in our village? Don't we have engineers? Don't we have people like us who have studied the minimal but still able to do something for our village? Then where is the point of this coming? Now, what has happened is, what has happened? The whole of India has realized this. India in its constitution has bought the 73rd, 74th amendment because they know the people are able to do things today. So they have given powers. We are asking, put those powers in the TCP. Vijay Sardesai made a statement saying that we have asked the TCP to be removed. Please tell him to prove it to us and show me that statement. And we will all take our demands back. It has nowhere been said. What we mentioned was
that grassroots planning and the points of the 73rd and 74th amendment should be applicable.
Yes. We are not saying remove the PDA. Bring the PDA back to us, but give us the planning.
Let it go from bottom to top.
Let it go from bottom to top. We are fine with it.
But
Another thing is,
the ODP is being planned in Kandolim village panchayat and also in Kalangut village panchayat. We have kept the plan open for the last 2 years in the Kandoli panchayat, where people could do any type of suggestion.
This is a total blatant lie.
Any type of suggestion.
You know very well the ODP was brought into notification.
And draft ODP came out.
Sorry, You
Ask
are the
him-
one who cheated
ask
entire
him-
Kandulim and
ask
Kalangut
him-
and took the plan back within 20 days.
Ask him
And you
Okay.
didn't bother
how
to
much
say a
area
word.
is being reserved
Let's not
for the
get-
people
You
of
didn't
Kandulim.
say,
Let's
you
not
didn't
get
bother to
personal.
say a
7
word
lakhs
to
square
any of
meters.
us
Roshan,
until we had to go and shout at the
Roshan,
court.
let's
7 lakhs
You
square
didn't
meters.
bother and you
Roshan,
cheated
let's stick
every
to issues, don't
Kalangut
get
constituency
personal. One
person.
That is why I
Come on.
won the election.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's stick, no, no,
You won the
let's
election
stick-
on
no,
a
Roshan,
blatant lie.
Roshan, let's stick to issues.
Today you are-
Let's stick to issues.
today you are
Roshan,
functioning
There is no
in-
personal.
Roshan,
No personal.
No,
Today you are
hang on,
functioning
hang on.
more
I'll
of
have to
a...
stop you there because see, you address issues. There is no problem.
No, that's what I'm
Points
saying.
that you are making are absolutely valid. Don't get personal.
No,
that's
it's
all.
not personal.
Okay. The only issue. Okay, I'll give the floor back to you. There are only two issues here. One is that what Michael Babu is saying is that the draft ODP was kept open for public.
For just 20 days, which is wrong.
Was it kept only for 20 days?
Now it is open for 60 days.
No, I'm talking initially when it came. What
Initially
happened in
it was there
2016?
for nearly 5 to 6 months.
Months?
You can check the dates.
ODP for
Check
5
the
to
dates.
6 months.
Okay.
Check the dates.
Okay. The point is okay. Now the thing is,
Sir,
whether it is
I am
whether it
sitting,
is
Land
I
use
am
map,
sitting with my
finalization
High
of
Court
draft.
case, which I am one of the petitioners, and the respondent NGPDA has mentioned it, saying that they kept it for 20 days and they took it
No,
back
that is,
because of
that
the
is during the election.
exactly.
No, that
now,
election.
now listen to the change
once,
in the
Once
statement.
code of conduct comes, we have to stop
Yes.
the process.
So after the code of conduct
Now
came,
we have
nobody
given
said
a-
anything.
we have
Nobody
given
said
another
anything.
60 days.
Okay. The point is okay. The issue is that if 60 days has been given, we take your point.
was
about
not
20
given.
days. No, I'm saying 60 days has been given now.
Now, why wasn't it given that time? Did they already had to plan to cheat us that time? Is it
60
that
days
we
was
people
given
had to
then
go to
also.
the... It was not
Since
given.
the code of conduct came, we cannot take it further.
Yes,
So
so
the
60
process
days
stopped.
were not
the larger
given.
point, I'll just give it to others. The larger point that you are saying, I mean, let's look at a solution now. The larger point that you are saying is that if the same process under the PDA is made more people friendly and transparent and top down, and plans are kept open to allow people of the village to participate in the planning process,
Yes.
then you all have no problem.
We have no problem.
So-
it's not
so
a,
not
it's
top
not
down.
Sir, I would like
Sorry,
down to
bottom
top.
up, bottom up, bottom up.
I would like to say
From
something. This
Kandulim,
is,
we have, if he doesn't know, we have 800 applications which are come. 800 applications are come now. And before that, another 700 had come during the land use map. So from Kandulim, I'm talking, not Kalangut. Kalangut is separate. Now, since the date was nearly completing, we had 200 more applications on the last 3 daes of Kandulim village.
For changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever means to put their house on record.
So okay, what Roshan is making a very important point. Let's take that on record and just clarify whether he's saying this. See, what you are essentially saying is the problem is not with PDAs per se. The problem is the way the PDAs are being handled and how the process is handled.
See,
if that is the case, then if there's a correction in the process and if it's more people centric, then there is no issue of PDA. Are you saying that,
Yes.
or are you saying that the PDAs as an institution should not exist?
see, the PDA is an authority, as I told you, made by the TCP. In the time when we were not capable. Today, entire India through the constitution has realized that we are capable, but the TCP doesn't realize that.
Okay, so the issue here
So
is,
what we are saying is, you make the amendment in the TCP Act, the PDA will remain. Then let the planning come to us. We are fine with it. We are fine
so
with
this
it.
this is actually a big change from the whole then if that
This-
is the
yeah.
case, then the whole nomenclature anti-PDA doesn't fit in
No,
with
I'm
what you're
not
saying right
agreeing
now.
to, I would like to say that we should scrap PDAs, and our Trajan Bab was very much in Congress that time when this manifesto was being drafted, and he was one of the members of that manifesto committee, I think, and he would
Even
would
Vijay,
vote
Vijay
right.
for that
Vijay.
matter was also.
Okay,
So, in fact, Vijay and his entire team, Prashant Naik, I think yesterday one video also was circulated, and he was saying, Movin, hi, Movin, Murdabad, Paisha Khale, Movin, Murdabad. In fact, Vijay also was there in that team, and Prashant also was there in that team. And you just mentioning about GBA thing in 2007.
Yes.
Prashant Naik, Dilip Prabhudesai, the core team of and Mohandas Dolekar, Vijay Sardesai, they were anti RP whatever 2011,
Yes,
and these
yes.
people are there with him today.
Sarabab, the issue is when you say no PDA, okay. Now, what is your solution? The issue is when you say no PDA, then the next question is what next? So what is the solution? You are saying what you don't want, which is fair. What do you want?
No, for that,
There is a suggestion. VDC,
We have the
Village
vision.
Development Committee is
no,
going
no,
to
he is
decide.
talking about Panchayat Raj thing, about the 73rd.
He is going to
74th
decide
amendment.
which project will come, which
Yes.
house will come, who is going to build how many
Yes.
room house.
No, problem,
but
problem,
Who has done this?
no,
The
problem
VDC
with
is
our
basically
minister.
from the center.
They are
These are central.
thinking or
Michael
representing
Babu,
the word of VDC. Village
tell
Development
you something
Committee
about Fathoda
is
now.
to develop the village and
With
not
all
the
our
planning.
structures and
With
everything.
plan.
Sorry.
I'll tell you
But you have
something.
a
plan.
Just
There
a
is a
minute.
planning
I'll
point
tell
of
you about
view is
Fathoda
separate.
now. I'll tell you about
Sorry,
Fathoda.
Kalangud warriors, just
Yeah,
let
I'll
the
tell you
warriors of
something about
Kalangud just
Fathoda
tell
now.
us. Let's go to Fathoda.
Yeah. Please. See, problem with our MLAs and ministers is, Michael Bab Raga hai na, ki they want to show the people that we are doing development, and Vijay wants to show that fast development. आपने यहाँ क्या लेते हैं क्या लेते हैं क्या लेते हैं. Now recent issue is about a multipurpose ground in Fathoda. We have a multipurpose school playground there, where cricket is being played, football is being played, kho is being played. People go for walking in the morning. People learn bikes and cars and everything. It's multipurpose. Now Vijay wants to